So, my brother and my sister-in-law, they basically have a problem with spending using a credit card. So you know what I did when they asked me a really stupid request? I laughed in their face. So I'm 22 female. I don't have much knowledge about finances and stuff as I still live at home and as I'm at university. I do, however, pay my parents about 300 euros a month in rent. I pay my own phone plan, buy material stuff I want or need, pay out for the other services, like for music or whatever, and try to put it as much as I can into savings, while still keeping enough in my main account for day-to-day purchases. Currently, I'm saving up for driving lessons in hope that if I pass decently, I can use some of my savings towards getting a car. I'm in my final year of university, so I'll be done and able to work full-time when all this happens. I also decided to get a credit card so I can learn how to manage credit, and I just need to build some up. My credit score is good for someone of my age and circumstance, but obviously it's nothing great in comparison for other stuff. I should point out that at most I only plan on using this card with a total adding up to 100 euros. I've stuck to that so far and only actually used it twice with these purchases only adding up to 80 bucks, and I paid it off quickly. I don't plan on exceeding my limit anytime soon, as I've heard far too many horror stories of people just using their credit card too much, cause it was really handy, and getting into very much debt. The only people I disclosed this to was my dad and my mom, who has a tendency to blab to my brother and sister-in-law, who are both 28. She happened to overhear us talking one day, and before I knew it, my brother and sister-in-law got wind and asked me if they could use my credit card too. They both admitted they had a debt spurred on by excessive credit card use and thought that since I basically had nothing owed on mine, it was free money. I told them quite politely that I'm not comfortable with that idea at all, and that I would owe the money and I can't just magic up that kind of money. Well, things went quiet until a few days later. They both turned up at the house. They were nice to start with, but basically started demanding I let them use the card, and they tried to manipulate it by using mom into guilting me to do it. I got really angry, and when my brother said I owe it to them because they used to babysit for me up until a couple years ago, I literally laughed into their faces and walked out. When I came home, I learned they tried to manipulate my dad and he kicked them both out. My mother then tried, and he told her to go too, and she's currently staying with my brother and sister-in-law. The only person on my side is my dad, who tells me they're all trying to make me go for a ride, and they're trying to manipulate me because I'm young and they think I'm vulnerable. My brother, sister-in-law, and mom, on the other hand, think it isn't a big deal letting someone else use my card. It's really messing with my head, and I just want everyone to stop being in an argument. So guys, I'm asking you, am I the a-hole? Okay guys, so I found a really good comment for this one. It says this: not the a-hole, do not let them bully you into committing fraud. The only people to blame for their debts are themselves, and if you let them use your credit card, they're just going to rack up further debt. They won't be liable as it'll be under your name that they've stacked up on, and the cost will just be so high and you'll be the one out of pocket. And let me tell you, that'll damage your credit score even further. I think having a set limit is really mature and the smart thing to do. Do not give it for the love of G's. Just because you're young and don't know how much about credit and finance, your dad's right. They're absolutely trying to take advantage of you. So guys, I have to agree with that comment. It's just weird that the brother would even ask for the credit card knowing that OP is not even experienced in that department. And he has other debt issues. Story number 2 title is this: am I the a-hole for not attending my friend's wedding on the day of my family's death anniversary? 7 years ago, I'm 35 female and I lost my husband, daughter, and mother to a car accident. They were hit by a drunk driver that drove through a red light and killed all of them on impact. Their death greatly affected me, and if it weren't for my friends and years of therapy, I would be in a much lower place. I'm very thankful for their support and have been able to process my grief properly. 2 years ago, I took a job offer that provided more benefits than my current one, and I moved far away from my city to another. I travel back occasionally to meet up with old friends and of course visit my family's graves on their death anniversary. It's a 7-hour car drive or around an hour by airplane. Due to COVID though, last year I drove just to avoid contact with people and stayed at my old house. This year I plan to do the same thing but ran into an issue with my friend having her wedding in my old city. My friend Amy, 33 female, using a fake name, announced she was engaged last year to her boyfriend of 3 months. My friend group and I were quite shocked as we've never even met him, nor did we know she was dating anyone as we usually always tell each other. But nonetheless, we congratulated her and were happy for her. They were supposed to have their wedding last year but couldn't due to COVID and postponed it to this year. We're not in the US by the way, and COVID cases are now less than 10 here in my country. We're allowed gatherings of less than 15 people, and that is what Amy decided to do for her wedding. About a week ago, Amy called me privately to tell me her plans for the wedding. She told me that she's having it on the same day of my family's death anniversary, and would like me to not visit their graves and just attend the wedding instead. Well, as you might guess, I was quite shocked, and the wedding was planned that specific day and questioned as to why. Why would she pick that day? Amy told me she just liked the number and told me that I can't just gatekeep a certain day. Then I asked her why I can't go visit my own family's graves, and she told me this. She doesn't want my sadness and grief to take the attention at her wedding. Yeah. I was incredibly stunned at what she said, and I know I'm quite emotional, but I know how to compose and behave myself at certain events. Here's where I think, though, I could be considered the a-hole. I told Amy that unfortunately I will not miss out on visiting my family's graves. I tried to ask for a compromise and told her if my emotions were that much of a problem, I'll attend their graves after the wedding was over. Well, get this. She said she wants my support for the entire day and to dedicate it to her. But she'll think about my offer. It's been a week, and I haven't heard a word from her. I feel like I should just go to the wedding to keep the peace, as I do owe it to her, especially after all the mental support and love she gave me after my family's death. But it still doesn't feel right that to just attend this wedding and forget about my whole family? Would I be the a-hole if I told her I will not be attending the wedding at all if she hasn't reached a decision? What's up guys, Mr. Reddito here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. So don't worry, there's a complete update for this story, and man is this a sticky situation. We're going to see exactly what happened on that wedding day. Hey guys, I want to start off by saying I thank you to everyone who replied. I was not expecting my post to gain this level of attention. I've read all your comments and thank you once again. I'm in tears and become an emotional mess after reading your thoughtful responses. Thank you for the love and support, and I've always felt as some sort of emotional burden to my friends. Thanks for the encouraging messages and telling me to keep my head up high. Even though we're all strangers on the interwebs, it sort of felt like I've gained a new family. My heart goes out to the people who have messaged me privately at their expenses with losing their loved ones to drunk driving as well. Please know, I felt your pain, you're not alone in this, and I wish you all the love in the world. Now, for the update. I did what some of you suggested and called my other friends to let them know what Amy had asked of me. They were quite livid and angry for me as they had no idea what Amy was planning for the wedding. We arranged a Zoom call with her the next day to discuss why she's being so insensitive to me. Well, the call was quite the battle. It started off calm, then Amy just absolutely blew up. You guys were right when you said that Amy's just jealous of the attention that I've received during this time of my family's death anniversary. Her wedding was a way to just shift the attention towards her. She tried to explain to us by having the wedding on that day, it'll turn a negative situation into a positive one. I guess when she realized she wasn't convincing anyone, it felt as though a mask had fallen from her face and she started yelling of insults. She said that she's tired of having to play the supportive friend role. It's been 7 years. I should just get over it by now and go join my family in the ground. Yeah. My friends lost their anger and called her every name in the book, and I'm honestly just shocked and disappointed at the person who I used to call my friend. It breaks my heart knowing I lost another person in my life, but I guess you guys are right in the sense that she was never a true friend. I now look back at our friendship and realized it was often a one-sided on my part. I wish it didn't take me so long to realize it, though. No one in our friend group of 6 people are going to our wedding now. We've decided to go completely no contact with Amy and block her on all social media. My friends have offered to go visit my family's graves together with me. Well, I accepted, and we're now planning to also make a scrapbook with my family pictures. For once, I'm actually looking forward to this day, and we'll start to plan more eventful activities like this. Thank you again for everyone helping me out through this, and please remember, do not drink and drive. I'm begging you, please don't. Please drink responsibly and drive safely, everyone. This story to me was actually a really sad one. I think it was completely weird that the friend would even want to have it on the same date in the first place, but let's read a comment. Not the a-hole, I'm so sorry for your loss, but I do have a question. Why is Amy allowed to gatekeep that day for her own, but she says you can't? After all, her wedding anniversary will be on that date forever. Will she try to force you to forget about your loss every year now? I think it's really insensitive and absolutely selfish of her. Guys, I didn't think about that when I was reading this story. The fact that, hey, this isn't a once-and-a-go type thing. She's going to have an anniversary every single year on this date. So what's going to happen in the future? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you thought it ended with all the friends not going to the wedding. I want to know your exact thoughts. Drop it in the comment section below, and here's our final story. Am I the a-hole for 1000% refusing to let my dad, mom, see my child for something that they did 15 years ago, and my brother says I'm being petty? I always had good grades in high school and was home on time, cleaned the house, etc. I never had problems with my parents before this. I went to med school, still living with parents when I was 20, and I dated someone who was 23. Dad was against this because, well, he doesn't believe in dating people far older than you, so don't date far from your own age, and says I can't do it either. Argument breaks out. Dad says this is his house, so either I agree or get out. I say it's not fair, as Jay has a job, goes to college, has a future plan. Well, Dad kicks me out. Mom agrees with this decision, and little bro was only 14 years old at this time, so I moved in with Jay. His family was supportive, helped me with college, and I went to another college due to financial issues. Finished my required years, but still kept in touch with my little brother. Years later, me and Jay, with the help of his parents, got a small home. Really small, but I'm so happy with it. I ended up giving birth to a sweet baby girl. I let my little bro know that he could come see her when he was able to, and he did come a few times. Today, brother came to see the baby and asked when I was going to let mom and dad see her, since they wanted to reconnect. I said never, and that I wasn't going to forgive them in my entire life. Brother says I'm being unreasonable, as they were just strict and trying to protect me. I say that's bullcrap, because dad shouldn't have kicked me out over an age. Brother says I should at least let mom come home, but she didn't want to agree with it. I say mom was able to do something but didn't, but the brother's situation was different. He was only 15. My brother's now upset because he says mom and dad regret their decision and just want to reconnect, and that I'm dragging this entire situation along. I told him that if he thinks I'm dragging it out, then he can stay out from my life too. He's angry and says that I need to move on and that I shouldn't be withholding them from seeing their grandchild. I say that they disowned me, and so have no grandchild from a daughter that doesn't exist. So my question to you guys is, am I the a-hole? I don't hate my brother, and I kinda get what he's saying, but I just have resentment towards my parents. It's not like I had a baby just to put it against them, but my little brother thinks I'm going to die on a hill with him for something done several years ago, and he thinks it's petty. I'm curious for an honest opinion on what you guys think. I want a relationship with my brother, just not my mom and dad. Almost everyone saying not the a-hole, with this comment leading the way. Not the a-hole, 2 things. 23 isn't too far away from 20, holy crap, that's 3 years. I feel like your parents just used that excuse as a way to control you. It's manipulative and gross to give your own grown daughter ultimatums over who she dates. You have every right to be angry. You have every right to decide who your child sees and who it doesn't. If I were you, I'd tell your brother that this is your kid, and your decisions are to be respected and not discussed any further unless he wants to do the damage in the relationship you guys have maintained. So yeah, that's a good point. Let me know your thoughts about this, guys. That's going to wrap up the stories for today. I really hope you enjoyed them. I hope you have an amazing day. And if you did enjoy it, I'm here every single day, so smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you tomorrow.